What's up? What's up? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Defense Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. This is part 2 of Chris Grier, GM of the Year. Why not? Okay. We're going to dive in this time. If you haven't checked out the first video, you got to go check it out. We break down all the offensive moves that he made and a few other details about why I believe he should literally be considered as general manager of the year. But this is part 2. Now it's time to talk about the other spectrum, which is defense. And after this, part 3 is coming, which is free agency. All right, so let's dive straight in. But before we do, I got to give a special shout out to DolphinsTalk.com. You can find my content there. You can also check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all social media sites at TD Fans Talk. That is my page, guys. And special shout out to Chef Jew, the first mod in the building. Chad Marchon shortly after him. Finsanity 5. Cloud Life in the building. Just got his wrench. Shout out to you all. My favorite topic right now, defense. Let's go, TD. Let's go, Chef Jew. This is going to be a good one, okay? This is going to be a good one. First of all, we were talking about how Chris Grier should be the general manager of the year, and we're talking about why. And I don't know if everything I said in the first video made sense, but that alone made a case. But now it's time to go ahead and make this case solid, just talking about the defense. And we're going to close the case on the part 3 when I talk about free agency, all right, and our signings, all right? So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, defense. We're going to do the same thing we did with the offense, but it's defensive time. What was the biggest name defensive player that we traded last year? Let me know in the comment section, because you know I got to make sure y'all educated before I start talking with y'all. Know who know what they talking about and who not. What was our biggest name free agent? I mean, guy that we traded this offseason. Cameron Wake. You better know it. Cameron Wake. So, Cameron Wake, do you know how many people hit me up? How could we let Wake go? Man, that was stupid, man. We would have kept Wake. We would have kept this person. We would have kept that person. We would still be competing, X, Y, and Z. So let's talk about how Cameron Wake did after his trade, okay? All right? So first and foremost, it was like, oh my gosh, just like Kenyon Drake, Cameron Wake exploded in week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. 2.5 sacks. And what did everybody do in my inbox? Told you, TD. He over there rocking. Now, mind you, I also told y'all that reason why we weren't getting pressure in Miami was because our defensive tackles were hurt, so they would just double team our ends. So we really don't know how good Wake and Quinn could have been at the end of it all. But anyway, back to the facts. Wake started the season. First game of the year, 2.5 sacks. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive. I'm not shocked. So, but time still has to tell if it was a good move that we made. Do you know since then, do you know how many sacks Wake had since that 2.5 in that one game? Let me know in the comment section if you know how many sacks Wake has had since he got that 2.5 in the first game. I'm going to wait about 20 seconds, see if anybody can guess how many sacks he's had after that. I need to go fill my cup, man. He's on IR. He just went on IR 2 weeks ago. So Cameron Wake actually played 10. Wait, no. He played 11 games after that. He played 11 games after the first game. He's been on IR for 2 weeks now. Might even be 1. I'm just being generous because you know I've been watching the Titans game lately. I think it happened. I don't know if it happened last week or the week before. They all jumble up now. But it's no more than 2 weeks. Half sack, he had 1. No, he didn't. He has had 0 sacks since that game because that 2.5 got him to 100 sacks on his career. It got him to 100 sacks on his career. He has had 0 sacks since that game, and then started to lose playing time to some of the younger guys. And this ain't no knock on Cam Wake. I love Cam Wake. Appreciate what he did for the Miami Dolphins. But these are facts, ladies and gentlemen. Facts. So we were stupid for Chris Grier was stupid for trading him before. I wonder what he is now. If he was stupid for trading Cam Wake before, y'all let me know in the comment section. What is he now? Because after that first game where Cam Wake had 2.5 sacks, Chris Grier, I repeat, Chris Grier was stupid according to a lot of people for having traded him. I wonder what he is now. Come on, man. Chris Grier made a great decision by not having Cam Wake on this team. And y'all got mad about it. Oh, please forgive me. Y'all right. Not traded, but cut. Cut. You right. Because I was the one arguing about you don't give him another deal like that. You don't give him another deal like that. But I wonder what Chris Grier is now. If he was stupid before, what is he now? Yeah, I'm reading the chat. Like I always tell y'all, correct me when I'm wrong, but acknowledge me when I'm right. If he was stupid for before by not continuing to have Cam Wake on his roster, what is he now? People mad about it because of what he meant to the franchise. I think most people just wanted to see him retire as a Dolphin. That was his choice. That was his choice. That was his choice. That was his choice. From my understanding, they had a talk that went nowhere. From my understanding, go look at the reports. They had a brief talk that went nowhere because Miami wasn't even close to offering him what he would have liked to have, what his agent told him he could have got, which he went and got what he got. I don't even remember what he got. Anybody remember what Cam Wake's contract was? Anybody remember what his how much Tennessee paid him? And no, Brandon Hudgens, he's not going to the Hall of Fame. Stop. We've had this conversation before. Cam Wake is not going to the Hall of Fame. I told y'all what he needed to do to go to the Hall of Fame, and this year just ruined that for him. We already looked up the numbers for all Hall of Famers. Man, you're delusional if you think he's going to the Hall of Fame. We already looked up the numbers for all Hall of Famers with rings and without rings and what it's going to take to get into the Hall of Fame. And what it's going to take to get to the Hall of Fame. We already looked that up. We already went. And if you've been on this, his contract is $23 million. Chris Grier. Imagine Chris Grier signing him to that. Imagine Chris Grier giving him 3 years, $23 million. How would y'all feel today? 7.6 a year. 7.6 a year, huh? I wonder how much was guaranteed. That's the real question. That's the real question. 10 million guaranteed. So they probably gonna give him another shot at it next year. Or they might just cut bait because they'll just pay him his 3 to 4 million and 3 million and say thank you. They'll probably cut bait. Give him his 3 million and say thank you because he was losing his playing time to the young guys unless he restructures with them. Ooh, Chris Grier. Ooh, thank you, Chris Grier. Thank you, Chris Grier, for not sitting here saying, hey, he's been with us so long, he deserves to retire with us. So let's give him his 3-year, 32. What was it? 3-year, $23 million. Because that's what it would have took to sign Wake. It would have took us to say, the reason why we're giving you 3-year, $23 million is because you've meant so much to us and we want you to retire with us. Here's your money. If the Dolphins would have said, we'll give you 3-year, $20 million, Wake wouldn't have been a Dolphin. If the Dolphins would have said, we'll give you 3 years, $22 million, Cam Wake would not be a Dolphin. You know why he wouldn't be a Dolphin? because I keep on preaching. I was preaching this to y'all for over a year and a half now, that every time Cam Wake and sat down and signed his new contract, they did a little press conference at this table in the Dolphins headquarters, and he always looked at the camera and told all of us fans the same thing every single time. And let me replay it. Let me reenact it for you. He looked us in the face and said, "Hey, Miami fans, it looks like I got a little bit more time over here," and signed the paper. He didn't say, "Man, I'm glad to be back. I'm ready to get back to work. I'm ready to do this and I'm ready to do that. I'm happy to be signed with Miami." No, I guess I got a little bit more time here. And he signed the paper. It's always been about the money for Cam Wake. And I ain't knocking him. Coming from where he came from, he made his name, earned his money. By all means, I pray, hey, I commend him for it. I ain't knocking him for it. You got to do you. But he was never this guy that everybody, oh, he meant so much to us. Did you mean that much? Did he mean that much to you? I'm just keeping it 100 right now. I'm just keeping it 100 right now. He did mean a lot to us, but how much did we mean to him? Them contracts meant a lot for him. But I knew from the first time he signed his contract, it was about the money. But I brushed it over. And then when we re-signed him again, I literally immediately said, whoa, he said the same thing he said years back. The exact same thing. He said the exact same thing. It's always been that. Well, they're mad because of what he meant to the franchise. Wow. How much did the franchise mean to him? It was always transactional for him. He was a workhorse. I do what I got to do. I put the work in. But how many times did you hear press conferences about Miami, his appreciation of playing for us, and how the team is him? He is the team. He never stepped into that. Facts, man. Chris Grier, GM of the year. Cam Wake, good move, Chris Grier. Not re-signing him. Not re-signing him. Oh, let's move right along. How about Robert Quinn? Robert Quinn was the one that we let go, y'all. Robert Quinn was the one that we let go that we shouldn't have. And here's the crazy part about it. Everybody was mad at Grier about all the other moves, but they were happy about this one. And I kept saying, guys, it wasn't Robert Quinn's fault. It was never Robert Quinn's fault. It was never Robert Quinn's fault. He was getting double teamed, him and Cam Wake. We got mad about all the other free agent moves, about letting guys go. And we were happy about Robert Quinn. When this is the only one that done went on and been doing so, do you know how many sacks that Robert Quinn has this year? Put it in the comment section if you're educated enough to know how many sacks Robert Quinn has this year so far. Put it in the comment section if you know how many sacks Robert Quinn has. Nobody knows, do they? Because this was the one you weren't vested in. This was the one. See, people probably looking it up right now. 9.5 sacks. 9.5 sacks with 3 games left. It's safe to say this guy might end the season with over 10 sacks. And we wanted to sit there and talk about what Robert Quinn wasn't doing. Robert Quinn is a prime example of why we need pass rushers, because he got other ones on that line and it allows him and other guys to get off. He's the prime example. Prime example why we need an edge rusher this year, an elite one. Because when you got multiple elite guys, everybody get off. This man got 9.5 sacks, and everybody was happy about, oh, well, at least he got something right this offseason. Well, we understand Robert Quinn. He was a waste. We wasted money on him. No, it was the schematic situation we were in. We lost both of our defensive tackles last year. And they doubled the defensive ends and went man to man against the backup tackles who weren't getting it done. And I was preaching the same thing the whole time. It's too many I told you rights. I ain't supposed to have this many I told you so's. I'm not supposed to have this many I told you so's. That's how lost our franchise was this offseason. We were wrong about almost every single move we made in our frustration with them. What's up, man? We were wrong about almost every single offseason move we made. Almost every single one. Yeah, but TD, Chris Grier let him go, so he didn't see it. No, Robert Quinn was a casualty of, number one, his age getting up there, the risk. And number two, we purging everybody else. Why we going to keep one guy? By the time we rebuild, he'd be 31. By the time we rebuild, he'd be 31. Next to mine. By the time we rebuild, he'd be 31. Then we'd be paying him money. And good job, Grier. Robert Quinn was one of the only ones that was worthy, but we purged. They knew his talent when we first brought him in. Some of y'all may have not have believed it. He was a victim of the purge and his age, because by the time that we got this organization on track, he'd be 31. It was a case of, we could use Robert Quinn, but we might as well go ahead and get an asset for him too if we're getting all the assets for the other guys that we were right on. Grier, GM of the year. Let's keep going. Kiko Alonso, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good one here. Kiko Alonso. Do y'all miss Kiko Alonso? Let me know in the comment section. Yes or no. Do you miss Kiko Alonso? Chris Grier has made so many perfect moves, man. Oh my gosh. Do you miss Kiko Alonso? First of all, Kiko Alonso only started 3 games for New Orleans. He has 31 tackles through 14 weeks, which is low for him. 31, y'all. He has one of his lowest of his career. But you know what? Do you know what we traded Kiko Alonso for? Let me see if some of y'all even know our own freaking team. What did we trade Kiko Alonso for? Here's a hint. We traded Kiko Alonso for somebody who leads our own team in QB hits. The one thing we can't do is get to the quarterback, and this guy leads our team in QB hits with 11. What did we trade him for? Vince Bajel. Who won that trade, ladies and gentlemen? Who won that trade? Miami or the Saints? Not only that, from my understanding, we got a draft pick, a 4th round draft pick as well. We got a 4th round draft pick as well. We ain't had to get Bajel, and I would have said we won with a 4th round draft pick. But we got Bajel, who leads the team in QB hits with 11. The one person. The only person that's basically getting to the quarterback. This trade, that trade might turn out to be massive if this trajectory keeps going. Not only did we get a 4th, but we also got Bajel. Oh boy, I almost went off, man. said Grier lost every trade so far. I almost went off on that person, but I saw it was Mike. He the only one allowed to be negative on this channel. Everything Dolphins can't do nothing right if it's left up to him. So we accept that. So y'all don't get mad at Mike or any of his comments because I don't. He is the only person that we accept on this channel to say all negative, and we just say, oh, okay, that's Mike. Never mind. He's earned that reputation now. Nothing he says has any credibility on this channel. It's designed to be against the grain. Shout out to Mike Pellegrino. Ha. Shout out to Mike. This is crazy, man. Kiko Alonso, man. Kiko Alonso. Huge victory. Now, Pete, I entertain you a little more, but sometimes you be falling off the wagon. Pete said Grier lost 80% of his moves. Okay, so he lost the Tunsil move, which he didn't. And if you think he does, then that's why you might be joining the Mike group. Big time. He didn't lose the Kenyon Drake one. He didn't lose the Kenny Stills one. Who else was it in there? He didn't. Well, I already did Tunsil, right? Anybody else on offense that I mentioned already that I might be missing right now? Drake, Kenny Stills, Tunsil. That's about it, right? He didn't lose the Cam Wake, let him go. He didn't lose the Kiko Alonso one. It's like he's a hunter. Now let's go over the elephant in the room that everybody want to talk about with Minkah Fitzpatrick, that he lost it. He ain't lose it. How can you lose something that you're required to do? What else is he going to do? You got a guy that don't even want to play for your team on a rebuilding team that's cancerous to the organization. And if you don't think that's a fact, then you stop. Just stop. He didn't lose. He didn't lose out on the trade to Minkah. He got what he got. He got what he paid for him. He got what he paid for him. He got what he paid for the man, and at least got a good rookie productive year out of him so that we can evaluate other talent on his roster without that deficit. How you lose if somebody don't want to be in the organization? The guy didn't want to be here, and y'all make it seem like this is something we pulled the trigger on and took a chance. Ain't with no chance. Matter of fact, I go out on a limb to actually reverse what I said. We actually won that. I didn't even think we would get a first. That was his talent, but I didn't think we would get the first. I thought that, we going to trade him. Man, we going to end up getting a second. I was like, I'll be fine with the second. And we still pulled the first off. And we still got what we gave up for him. I'm all good with that. Guy don't want to be here. Continuing to keep him here is bad for the culture and what these coaches are trying to build. And then on top of it, Grier, GM of the year, did his due diligence meeting with the man 3-4 times, basically begged him to stay. You can't ask for him to do no more than that. You couldn't ask for him to do more than that. And if you're one of those individuals where you don't trade him anyway, then you set your head coach up for failure. You setting your head coach up for failure. You cannot hold on with a new head coach. You cannot have someone who don't even want to be there that's cancerous to what the coach is building and what for people to buy into it. Period. He did what he had to do. I appreciate it. And guess what? We talking about another first-round pick this year in a loaded draft. Another first-round pick in a loaded draft. Which moves us further away from Minkah's restructure. So think about it. Minkah Fitzpatrick's pick, when we use it next year, that means we basically got 6 years out of a first rounder. We got 6 years worth of low contract for a first rounder. You see, I ain't talking about that. Because Mika in 2 years is going to get his big deal. We got Mika for a whole year on a low rookie deal. And this year done passed. Now we still ain't got to worry about that first round pick paying massive money for another 5 years, 4.5 years now. It's that simple. He wanted out. That's a win, period. It's nothing you could have done about it. But it's a win for Grier to sit there. And I heard there were 4 teams that were offering. And we actually had to pick which one. 4 teams that were offering a first round pick. And we had to pick which one we thought were going to be the worst team. So I'm confident that every team was a playoff team. I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots weren't trying to send their first round pick. That's real talk. I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots weren't trying to send their first round pick to go get Mika. That's what they do. We can get 3 years of a rookie deal out of him? Absolutely. Because this safety we got now is really good, but we about to have to pay him. Up. Let's do it the New England way. Bye. Hey, welcome, Mika. This is where you can make your future, young man. Three other teams outside of Pittsburgh offering a first round pick, and we decided to go with Pittsburgh because we thought that would be the best option. I'm telling you, they were all playoff teams because ain't nobody but playoff teams going to give up a first round pick. Ain't nobody but playoff teams for that guy that's going to give up a first round pick. All of them were competing teams. You probably had the Patriots. You probably had Seattle. You probably had, you had some teams that was ready. And we went with the Steelers, the best option. Who's still fighting to get in the playoffs, ain't guaranteed to go. Ain't guaranteed to make the playoffs. And when good old Tannehill knock out the Texans, it's going to ruin it for Pittsburgh and the Texans. Which is even more genius of Chris Grier trading with them. I know this ain't the case, but what if Chris Grier was like, here's what's going to happen. We're going to trade Tannehill to there. He's going to start in the middle of the season. He's going to take them to the playoffs, knock Houston out. That's why we're going to trade Tunsil, make that pick valuable. And, yeah, we'll send Minka to Pittsburgh. That way he'll knock them out too. Now, we know that ain't the case, but it's all working out in that favor if Tannehill can do what he got to do. If Tannehill can beat Houston and get in the playoffs, Houston and Pittsburgh will be home sitting. Nobody talking about that, huh? Nobody talking about if this man beat Houston, win the division, which they very well could. The Texans are 31st in the NFL in red zone defense, second to last, ladies and gentlemen. Tennessee's number one. Number one. If the Titans can just beat the Texans and get in the playoffs, they knock out both of them, Pittsburgh and the Texans. They would knock out Pittsburgh and the Texans based off of the tie, and the Colts might still be able to have a chance to get in. Do you know what that would mean if the Texans and Pittsburgh don't playoffs? Do you know what that means for our draft capital? And then on top of that, what's even worse, it's a top 19 pick. Top 19. Top 19. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Titans do their thing. We got 3 top 19 picks. Chris Grier. Thanks to Chris Grier. Thank you, Chris Grier. See, you can't call that a win trade because we don't know what they'll pick. You're right. In regards to what we'll pick, we can't call it a win trade. I'm not talking about what we pick in the future. I'm just talking about we got the asset. That's it. We at least have the asset. Otherwise, you have nothing but a disgruntled person making the chemistry of the team even worse and getting bad play in the position. Have we considered if we kept Minka? Minka wouldn't have been making them picks and stuff like he doing now. If we force him to stay and he didn't want to be here, Disgruntled. I'm confident he would have played his way out. I'm confident in it. Hell, he wasn't doing nothing when we had him this year. Yeah, but he was out of position. So what? So what? So if we would have kept him, man, I'm off of Minka. Like I said, Grier made the most out of the situation. That's all I'm saying. And that's what you want in your GM. You want him to make the most out of the situation. So how did he not win when he got the max that was possible for him to get? That's the point. You win if you get the max out of it, max possible out of what you could have got. It could have been so much worse. We could have got a third. We could have got a second. Or it could have just been a first rounder, but to the Patriots. And it might have been a late 29, 30 or whatever. Maybe Super Bowl 32. Who knows? All I'm saying is it's a win because he got the max he could get out of the situation. That's it. That's all I'm saying. That's a win. It's always a win if you can get the max out of the situation. Everything outside of that is out of your control. You don't win or lose with stuff that's out of your control. That's what y'all better open your mind to that. What I just said. You don't win nor lose when it comes to things you don't control. It is what it is. That ain't no win or loss. It may hurt you, but it don't mean you lost. You can only deal with things you can control. And he got the max out of what he could control. That's a win. Straight up win. Everything I just outlined, tell you now. General Manager of the Year. At least be considered. And y'all know I'm right. You know why? Because so many people were so hard on all these things I'm talking about when they transpired. So many people were against them. So many people disagreed and said Grier needs to go and X, Y, and Z. How they turning out now? How is it turning out now? We ain't talking about the Minka and we ain't talking about Minka and we ain't talking about Robert Quinn nor Tannehill because we understand why we made those decisions. Minka, we had no choice. Robert Quinn, 29. Even if you have a good season this year and next year, we can't rely on you being 31 doing it. Tannehill, we don't know what we have in you yet, and we have yet to put the team around you to know. Nor will we have the team around you this year to know anyway. So let's get what we can, do it the right way, build a team, and then we'll drop our quarterback in like a cherry on top. You got it. Drop him in like a cherry on top. So if you think we lost those three situations, no. But all the other ones, you better know that we smashed them. We oh my gosh, wow, Grier. How did you see it coming? How did you see it coming with Cam Wake? How did you see it coming with Kenyon Drake? How did you see the Tunsil thing coming? Wow, how did you see that Kenny Stills would have his least productive year and he still plays a lot? How did you know Kiko Alonso wouldn't answer? And you got Bajor, who's been more productive for us than Kiko in what we need, and we got a fourth rounder for you. How did you do that? GM of the year. We gonna end this up, y'all. Part 3 coming up next. Part 3, we gonna close the case. Part 3 coming up next. Chris Grier, Part 3, GM of the year. Free agency. Come back in a few minutes. I'm coming.